Many people continue to wonder if there could be life on Mars. But for the red planet to support life as we know it, there would need to be some sort of water source. Could this next photo prove that our planetary neighbor not only has water, but a whole plumbing system? It's May 2000 on Mars. NASA's Mars Global Surveyor probe is sending back photos from its mission to study and map the whole surface of the red planet. But as researchers are going through the pictures, one image is nothing like anyone could have expected. In the right corner of the black and white photo are what appear to be several long tube-like objects embedded in the sand or rock. Let's take a closer look. They feature a series of parallel ridges, almost like a massive corrugated pipe. Former aerospace engineer Mike Barra, who has been studying Mars for more than 2 decades, thinks this anomaly merits further attention.
As a structural engineer, what I saw was what looked like a series of repeating, supporting structural objects that don't look entirely natural.
Mike thinks it might be proof of the existence of some sort of past Martian civilization.
It could have been some sort of hydraulic tube. It could be a way of moving water around the very barren Martian surface, or it could have even been a transport tube. And when you look at this as a glass tube, you see that there's like a compartment there, almost like a little train that got stuck in this corner and couldn't make the turn, and now it's sort of encased there forever.
Corrugated pipes can twist and turn. So author Jason Martell says some suggest this could have been an ancient aqueduct that used gravity to divert water.
NASA recently amazed the UFO community with the announcement that there's evidence for a contemporary liquid water movement on the Martian surface.
NASA says it seems some dark streaks on Mars are actually running water flowing downhill. Still, others claim these formations aren't pipes, but an entirely different sort of structure.
Could these have been some type of a transport tube, also known as pneumatic tubes? Pressure is used to move objects through a network of tubes, possibly from some type of sentient alien that had otherworldly machine parts, which now lay embedded in the red planet's dirt.
NASA has been monitoring Mars since the 1960s, yet thus far, they haven't been able to detect any indisputable signs of life. Are their cameras missing the big picture? Or is the idea of life on Mars better suited for comic books? Let's get a better read from our experts. To kick us off, could these be broken and ancient pneumatic tubes from an alien transport system? NASA geologist Dr. Bob Anderson doubts it. He says this design would be needlessly complex.
If you look at modern transport systems on Earth today, hypertrains and stuff, you don't find these kind of junctions here. Why don't you just run it directly from A to B?
To be fair, if these are ancient tubes, we may only be seeing fragments of them. But why haven't they been seen elsewhere on Mars? This likely also rules out them being something like an aqueduct system.
If this was created by an alien technology, I would expect to find something that dug the hole up, any kind of a pumping system to get the water to go anywhere. But there's no parts laid anywhere that can be seen in the image. And also, it's located in an area where you're not near the polar caps where most of the water is on Mars. Therefore, it doesn't even seem to be in an ideal location.
Yet, astrophotographer Andrew McCarthy believes that water does have something to do with the solution.
I think what we're looking at here is an ancient riverbed, either formed from flowing water or flowing lava that carved out this shape in the Martian terrain. Meanwhile, these lines were formed by sand being brought in by the Martian atmosphere, depositing it, much like sand dunes here on Earth.
And Anderson confirms this is not the only place where we see this on the red planet.
We do know that about maybe 3 billion years ago, Mars had a very valid hydrologic cycle. We had an ocean, we had streams. But since Mars has dried up about 2 billion years ago, what happens is that these channels or these cracks are left behind. And because of the depression there, the winds are flowing down those channels, forming these beautiful lines. So we've seen this all over the surface of Mars.
We have more than scratched the surface on this one. And although ancient aqueducts do sound interesting, we're going to flow in a different direction with our verdict and say that these are wind-blown ripples in sand dunes. Well, who knows? In another 2 billion years, advanced plumbing systems may end up on Mars.